Hey guys, what's going on? This is nearly nerdy.
I think.
Yeah.
Still
It's limited
for now.
Yeah. We got some names that are going to be changing up in the works. We got some new people here, more of like a unlimited kind of feel of maybe new. Okay, well, either way, we're going to be changing up some stuff anyways. Welcome to our show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And actually, there was something that is new here, too. Going along with new, we had a fight to the death recently amongst two of our recent individuals who are here. And fortunately, we've learned that gun beats knife.
Yes, gun definitely beats knife.
And I'm very happy that you told me the final blow was a nice bitch slap.
It was a slap to the face.
Actually, truth be told, I kind of panicked because I ran out of bullets and I tried to throw the gun at him and it just sort of fell and I ended up just accidentally slapping him and he was just tired. I'm sorry. But it made me look courageous for the first 2 minutes and then right. So welcome to the show, I guess. So who exactly are we?
Well, like we have a couple running names going on right now.
I think we've solidified it.
Solidified one of them.
We changed all the handles.
Yes. So we decided that we're going to be making some changes, right? One, particularly to the name, because we aren't really nearly nerdy anymore. I'd probably go along and say we're more
Just nerdy.
just nerdy, right? We've decided to go with Nerds Unlimited. So expect the new name to be showing up next week. So this will be our last show as Nearly Nerdy. And then starting next week, we are going to be Nerds Unlimited. Dun, 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 dun.
I arrived just in time to kill Nerdy. Like, it's my second episode. It's like, hey, Matt, want to be part of this new show? Dead.
Yeah, Matt shows up and we just he just killed the idea. So we're just like, yeah, okay, we're going to do something new here.
You just said everything was stupid.
Yeah, it was just all done.
That's why the intro's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, should we go into our first topic?
Definitely. Yeah. So, we got lots to cover today. Like I said, we got Defenders, we got some DC news, we got some gaming news, and we got some anime news. So I'm pretty excited for today. I'm going to start things off with Defenders. So I did a quick little research on them. So we obviously know that Netflix has recently released the Defenders series, which is about how many episodes? What, 8 episodes?
8 episodes.
8 episodes, which follows the story of 4 superheroes that they've previously had already in the Netflix Marvel series: Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil. They come together for a common cause, fight Sigourney Weaver and the Hand. They basically save Hell's Kitchen. They got handsy.
Pretty much.
But before we get into the show, I want to quickly go into a small little background of the Defenders. So one thing I went and looked up, because I didn't know the Defenders, what they were and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that they were always going to be about these 4 people.
But you didn't know the original cast?
No, I didn't. Oh. So I went to look them up, and I'm like, holy shit, the Defenders originally was like a crazy. They might as well have been called the outside Avengers.
Yeah.
Legit.
Really.
You had Doctor Strange, Submariner, Hulk, and Silver Surfer. Mm-hmm. Even at one point, Submariner, Hulk, and Silver Surfer were the Titans 3.
Yeah, and you know the weirdest part, like, the 3 of them kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Like having Namor, Banner, and
Doctor Strange
together.
Silver Surfer?
Silver Surfer is just like, would he just like catch tide and end up there?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are hanging out and talking?
Yeah.
I'll join in.
Yes. You got mystical powers. We got super strength. You got, I don't know what you are.
You're fishy.
I'm going to come with my power cosmic and just fuck shit up. So, yeah.
So, the one thing is that I unfortunately haven't been able to watch the Defenders yet, just because I've seen a lot of previews. I've been curious, how exactly for someone who has binged it, and for some people that have yet to see it, how do the other actors play off of each other?
Oh, they play. I actually
Everyone's
enjoy them.
great, but Finn Jones.
Yeah.
There's a really funny review if you watch it where it's like all the fighting was great. You know, you have Defenders fighting, and then you have Iron Fist fighting, and literally it's like, ugh. Like the spacing is like literally like that. You can see the gap of where this guy goes to punch a dude, and the guy just flies away. But cool thing about the event, the Defenders, is they actually didn't come to the 4 that we have in the show until probably like the last 5 years. Like it was like literally a comprised team of like half the Avengers, half of like different people, superheroes you've never even heard of. They were literally considered like a team of the outsiders, if you really want to think about it that way, because DC has outsiders, right? Yep. So I would think of like the Defenders of like the outside team of of Avengers. So.
And the show did a really good job of bringing the point across that they all didn't really want to be there, but Danny Rand.
Yeah.
Danny just wanted to tell more people how to use the Iron Fist.
Basically, right?
There's actually a drinking game out there, Matt, for when you watch it. Every time the Iron Fist goes, "My name is Danny Rand, and I'm the immortal Iron Fist," you have to take a shot. If you live past the first episode, we would love to have you back next week.
Last show, didn't we talk about a game like that?
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I created, first of all, I do not drink, but I have friends that do, and I love to see them go through this. It is the Arrow drinking game. Now, every single time...
Back to the island. That's what it was.
Every single time that Ollie basically talks about the island, you take a shot, and by the second episode, everyone has died of alcohol poisoning.
Yep.
Oh, man. So, yeah, basically, the end of the day, when it came to the Defenders for the comic book series, they decided to make them, like, street-level superheroes, which is pretty much what we get for the series, which I'm very happy for, but considering the original powerhouse... Doctor Strange, Hulk, Submariner, and Silver Surfer. Like, whoa.
It's awesome. There was one thing that was pointed out to me online that I thought was really cool, and it was like when all this stuff was going down. Spider-Man, Peter Parker lives literally like 3 blocks away. Where was he there?
Yeah.
Was he too busy like having girlfriend daddy issues?
No, he's still trying to get the Avengers, man. He's on the phone with Happy Hogan, just like, so, like,
this building literally just fell on a dude.
Yeah, but I had a sandwich today. I saved this, I helped the old lady cross the street.
I had a churro.
A churro? I also saved this bike thief. I stopped this bike thief.
Is this your bike?
that actually, no, you did bring up a good point, because you mentioned, the Defenders that are hanging around New York. You have people such as Spider-Man, who also is in. So in the Marvel universe, you ever notice that it's just primarily New York? Like,
yeah.
There's got to be more to, like, where is the superhero comic book that takes place in Idaho?
You know what's funny you say that, though, because back in the 90s, they had several different factions of Avengers.
Oh, yeah?
Right? So it wasn't just the Avengers. They had the West Coast Avengers, East Coast Avengers, Force Works, and they even the Salt Lake City Avengers at some point, right? So legitimately, back in the 90s, you had several different cities where they would host. So at least this way, you're not like, oh, okay, the Avengers are all the superheroes are stuck in New York, right? You can be like, oh, we got some new superheroes in California. We got some superheroes down in particularly LA, right? Or Salt Lake City, which is what?
That's Utah.
Utah, thank you. I was trying to remember the name. I'm like, yeah.
Just sorry, fun fact. Instead of saying LOL, like laugh out loud, way off topic, I know, but I discovered this new one called OTA. It's, oh, that's a hoot. Just trying to like work that into everyone's vernacular. The amount of judgment coming from your face towards me right now. You probably thought I was like really quiet.
Because I was like, maybe he's on to something here, and then it turns into an abbreviation, and I'm just sitting there here going, stop trying to make fetch happen.
Damn it, Gretchen.
The following is brought to you in part by Mean Girls. No, no. Now you fucking got it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
shit.
So basically,
Thursday, we're not wearing pink though.
So basically, what you mean to say is what the Avengers was basically like old school hip hop, where pretty much it was like everybody trying to rep the same thing, but they all have different districts. Yeah. And it's like, fuck you, East Coast.
Yeah.
Fuck you, West Coast.
Yeah. The Mighty Avengers were the ones who were like if you think of like Justice League, you know Justice League has
Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited, right? Justice League, the original like 6. Then you had everybody underneath in different parts of the United States, right? So, and then even as far as I guess Alpha Flight would be considered a faction at some point, but
Yeah, the Canadian version.
yeah, the Canadian version.
See, like I'd like to see a map though of like the Marvel universe and just see how much of it's like is like all of North America's New York, and then just Wakanda is the rest of the world.
It totally is. It's got to be it. Like legit. Like everything is one
like,
that's
a
the
little-
East Coast right there, and like you could probably do a map. It's like, okay, so here's Doctor Strange house down the street. There's Stark Towers. There's Spider-Man. Here's like Venom, and then like literally just start. Oh, and then we have Professor. Oh, actually no. The only other one to be different would be the Xavier Schools for Gifted
the
Children.
Gifted,
Yeah, that would be in Salem.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So yeah.
We also
Oh.
forgot Latveria as well.
Oh yes, Latveria. Yes, that small little dot.
Like literally just put like a little Doom mask down.
That's Latveria, somewhere in the middle of the ocean of sorts.
It's very hard for me to wrap my head around like Doom as, because here's the thing, he's like this giant crazy magic sorcerer who's gone and taken over an entire like country, and I feel like, because I've only known Doom from the movies, right? And yeah,
that's so saddened.
I don't
'Cause Doom
feel-
from the movies is so shit.
Yeah.
Doom from the comic books is so genius. Like he's to the point where he has held, I believe he's held Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
He's held Thor's hammer at some point. He's like a megalomaniac that is just beautiful with a lot of the things that he does. Like in all the
So me.
cartoons, in all the cartoons, if you're watching anything that's were his shit, like anytime they mention his name, they're just like, even Shield is just like, no, we ain't going over there. Nah.
No.
They're just like, what? Why? Like, if he has what we need, we have to like call him first and be like, hey, so like you have something that we kind of want. Can we work out a deal? Like, send you $2 million, maybe some girls. I don't know.
Doom's just standing there like Biggie in a music video. I have enough girls.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, no, he's the type of character where I really love in the comic books, but on screen, or at least big screen, has always been a letdown for me, because like he not only has he been one of the Fantastic Four's biggest nemesis, he's been everybody's biggest nemesis
And
at some
in
point.
Scope as well, Loki's scared of him.
Yeah.
Like there's like literal instances where Loki's like,
Well, okay.
Yeah, and it's not even that he's a sorcerer. It's something having to do with like his suit itself is made up of like a ton of traps and gadgets, right? And
isn't it? It's attached to him though, right?
it's attached to him, yeah. But it's still like he still tinkers with it to make it more like it's almost like a crazy super attached Iron Man in a sense, right? But he also has like all these gadgets and computerized controls for an entire castle worth of shit. Like imagine Stark Tower, how they've made it in, again, this is the comic book versus the TV series or like the movies, because in the movies they don't really have much security for Stark Towers, whereas in the comic books it's literally you can't even step foot on the front without like why are you here? Right? Same concept with his stuff. He has tons of Doom bots that he sends out to people to do most of his
literally a
things.
country.
Yeah, literally.
So, dare I say, one of the things that I did recently was I actually rewatched the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I've noticed that
Even the third one? Sorry.
I actually didn't mind the third one.
Oh. It's the first person
Now-
to say that.
You haven't talked to Nick, have you?
No, I know Nick likes the first two.
Well, I'll explain it this way. So, Movie Bob, who used to do videos for The Escapist and now does his own thing with Geek.com, he had an episode where he perfectly explained the Emo Peter thing. Imagine it like this. So, in this interpretation of Peter Parker, he's a nerd who has never been cool, being possessed by a alien host who knows absolutely nothing about humanity's cultures. That scene was just as awkward and as horrible and pretty much like social seppuku as it was meant to be, because
But never happens in the comics.
yeah, it never happens in the comics, but if you like break it down, yeah, that's exactly how that scene should have been. It didn't meet Eddie Brock first. No, it bumped into Peter first and is like, okay, what do you think is cool? Cool, dig on this. And all the panties drop.
It looks like him right now. Too. That's the scary part. I'm like looking at him like, And here's Tobey Maguire. Like,
I'm waiting for Gwen to come around the corner.
Snap into a Slim no. But
oh, man.
getting back on point, I've noticed that with a lot of Marvel movies, particularly the newer ones, but it has extended to the Fantastic Four universes. When it comes to villains, they go through what is basically a Jekyll and Hyde setup, where they have the villains or the people that will eventually become the big bads really sympathetic, or one of the good guys, kind of like what they did with Doom, where it's basically like, oh, he's accompanying us to space.
Yeah.
And then, cosmic rays turned me evil for some weird reason.
Well, in most cases, like that's where like the storyline between what you see on big screen versus what's in the comic books, because like you can kind of see the dark side of those characters. It's like an anime, right? Like when you first meet
Not a very good one, but
well, like in comic books versus anime, like you're seeing the character in the first few episodes, and you're like, wait a minute, something's kind of shady, and they do a way of like drawing it kind of weird, dark in the background for that character, and you're like, he's gonna be a villain later on, right?
They did a really, really good job of that too in Green Lantern.
Yes.
And like going in, obviously, if you knew Green Lantern's lore and who Sinestro was, you're like, oh, cool. Like, he seems like a dick.
Yeah.
That's it. But then the end of the movie puts on the fear ring, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
because the thing is, though, is like you kind of have to realize that Sinestro is going to be a villain. It's in the goddamn name. Like, it's like, who's that guy? I don't know, but he's got Sinister in his name. Something's up.
You know, I never noticed that until now, actually.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Hey, you know what? I know it's great to be part of the Blue Lantern, but we have to talk about Baby Kick Murderfist. There's something about him.
That's one of the characters?
No, I'm saying
I'm confused. Where did that come from then?
What?
No. I was trying to do a very subtle segue about how Sinestro, it's in the name. So it's like, imagine just one of the other lanterns where it's just like, I was trying to set that up, but it was just completely over your head.
Yeah, we're like, Baby Kick Murder Munch? What would you call it?
I said Baby Kick Murder Face or something like that.
I was like, what the hell? Is that actually a lantern? I was
No!
literally about to Google that lantern now and be like, what the hell?
Coming soon to Injustice 2.
Did you guys see the DLC for Injustice 2? Sorry.
I want the game so
Raiden.
badly.
I have it.
Raiden.
It's just the DLC's so expensive.
Yeah.
Raiden.
Well, yeah.
Hellboy.
Raiden. Sorry.
He catches the missile and he's like, shh, thanks, bud.
That's pretty awesome, too.
Am I the only one who wants to get Injustice 2 just for Starfire, and that's pretty much it? No?
Starfire is pretty awesome.
They just
Yes, I was just
cast
going to say that. Yeah. They casted the new girl for that. Did you see it?
Sorry, I can't hear in this ear right now.
Sorry, I was like, What's the actor's name? I literally just saw this last night. I didn't even get a chance.
I literally saw it while I was walking over here.
Starfire cast.
I was incredibly, because I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning video editing for Always Right Reviews, a fantastic YouTube series
Anna
that you should
Diop.
subscribe.
Anna Diop.
I
casted as Starfire in live action for DC's digital service. So Titans is we got another subscription service I have to pay into.
I am going to have to do a lot of research into this actress now, because I'm very curious to see, because it's not a name that has shown up on my radar.
No.
So it'd be curious to see what she's done.
She kind of looks a bit.
She looks like what Starfire looks like in Injustice 2, to be honest.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe like looking at the picture now, I'm like, oh, maybe no. She had a bit of a feel to me that made me think of Kerry Washington for a little bit, but I'm like, not anymore. Like this picture makes her look like Kerry Washington a little bit, right? But then, yeah. So yeah,
it's gonna be like Gamora. Like, I just like that. I saw a bunch of memes this morning, and it was like literally just like a guy put his hand in orange paint and was like, "I'm coming."
So Anna Diop, Diop, Anna. ANNA. Check it up if you guys want to see who that character or the actor is, at least, right?
This has completely shifted my paradigm now, because I'm sitting here going, oh my god, they have a Starfire!
Yeah.
Oh god, they have a Starfire. Oh god, what it might happen.
Yeah.
And speaking of what might happen and DC Comics, so I stumbled onto a story not too long ago, but from what I've gathered, Warner Brothers is currently looking for directors to do a Joker origin story.
Perfect. Yeah.
Some of the people that are involved are Martin Scorsese, freaking tastic. As well as directors such as Todd Phillips. There's a couple other directors that are throwing their hat into the ring. But
let's hope any of those directors are actually done. They don't walk away from it.
So I have a funny story. Sorry, Matt. Actually, I'm going to let you finish because I cut you off.
Well, for me, the thing is that in regards to the Joker, I'm actually really worried about this.
Jared Leto might be doing it, eh?
No.
I just saw a rumor of it about an hour ago. He's still going to be in the DC movie universe now. He's set to come back as a Joker for, I don't know if it's for Joker and Harley Quinn or it's for something else. Still unsaid what he's going to be playing.
I don't.
Where he's going to be
playing. In regards to Leto, he's probably like a really great guy and a
the problem is they made the comic book character look like him now.
Yeah.
So like we were reading Metal, in the end of Metal, you see he looks like Jared Leto. I'm like, oh, okay, so it looks like Jared Leto's going to be this character for the next little bit now, right? So for the next, at least, I'd say half of year of comic books, we're going to have the Joker looking like Jared Leto. So might as well just put the shoes back on him and say, here you go.
I don't know. At this point, it's clown shoes. You know, it's there you go. Segue. But no, the thing is that my major concern is that how the wonderful thing about the Joker is that you never truly know his origin story. He's the man of 1,000 faces.
Oh, yeah.
And the only time you really, with the exception of Jack Nicholson, obviously, but the only time you really knew anything about his origin story was possibly based upon how he acted or how he presented himself.
Yeah.
Like there's the giant theory that Heath Ledger's version of the Joker was actually a result of a former soldier who basically went off to fight in God knows where, came back damaged.
I didn't hear this. I just thought it was
PTSD, right?
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD, and it explains the military-like precision for a lot of the things that he
That
accomplished.
is amazing!
Yeah, you didn't think about that.
That
now,
is
did
amazing.
You?
I was just like, do you ever want to know how I got these scars?
Yeah.
I'm like, he was beat up as a kid and his dad stabbed him? Like, that's what I was thinking this entire time.
The thing about the Joker is that when he gives his origin story, it's most likely has absolutely nothing to do with the dialogue. It's all about his actions, how he carries himself, how he does things. It's what is it called? It doesn't matter what you say, it's what you do.
Yeah.
And everything that Heath Ledger's Joker
James
was...
is loving that right now. That story, you look at him, he's like, say what? He's like, wow.
No, but yeah, everything about the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, seems to respond to someone who was former military and suffering horrible PTSD as a result of what he saw. Yeah. And maybe a not so incredibly subtle remark about how the U.S. were not taking care of troops coming back from places like Afghanistan during the War of Iraq.
Yeah.
A lot of things like that are coming into play. I did not obviously with Jack Nicholson's portrayal, you knew he was a gangster.
Yeah.
The same goes for other things, but in the animated series, they left it a bit more cryptic, and I think what plays into a really good Joker is you don't know, and the only way you can know is by possibly piecing together little clues. If it's spelt out, it loses the mystique.
And that's okay, but going for Suicide Squad. Sorry,
okay.
Shut up. Okay, go.
It's really cool too in the comics right now. Well, it was more new.
He's drooling over it now.
I'm so excited to share this point. All right, let's go. But in the Dark Side War, Batman becomes the god of all knowledge. I don't know if you know this.
I did see a picture of that. That actually is fucking dope. When he's sitting on the throne,
in this chair. He's like, his first thing, because this chair tells him everything. He goes, "Who is the Joker?" And they're like, he just goes, "Oh God, no." The Joker is 3 different people. It's not just one person. It's the persona of the Joker. That's what they're going with in DC.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense why Gotham has done that pretty much in their storyline.
So they're saying that. So the people, there was something on YouTube. I don't remember who it was, and if I did, I would give you the credit for it. But they were saying that Nicholson, Ledger, and Leto are
3
different Jokers. Mm-hmm. There's obviously gonna be more Jokers. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they use as a comparison, like one's a mobster, one's a soldier, and one just wants to fuck shit up.
Yeah. A Joker, a smoker, a midnight toker.
Exactly.
What's the rest of that? I'm a sinner. I don't know the song, but that's as far as I know.
Money well spent. Thank you very much.
But But it's just cool, like that. It'd be interesting to see them like put that in somehow into the DCU. That it's not just one person. Like it's the idea of the character's chaos.
It doesn't seem so far-fetched, especially as someone who's played the Arkham series. Because if you played the most recent one, there's a brief series, spoiler, sorry guys, where the Joker has basically kidnapped Jason Todd and is basically brutally murdering him, but he's also infected other people with the Joker toxin, which is actually causing them to have
That's
Joker.
in the Arkham series?
Yeah, this is in the last
Arkham Knight.
one.
Oh, I haven't played Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
Where they have certain characters exuding Joker-like qualities. And there's a part where Batman loses control and the personality of the Joker takes control of him. And it shows what would happen through a series of basically like breaking down Bruce Wayne's psyche, what would happen if the Joker had his day. And that is actually one of the most fantastic parts in the entire game. Unfortunately, the rest of the game sort of just fell apart, especially because, seriously, why tank combat when you're fighting against Deathstroke? I'm just letting you know, that did not make sense.
Yes. Oh my god. Thank you. Literally 95% of the game, you're in the Batmobile.
Yeah, I noticed that. Although the Batmobile does look sick. But it has been like 20 years in the making that people wanted to be able to use the Batmobile in the games. Like, last time we get was
Gotham Racing.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
that's
just
the
saying,
thing.
like the last time we ever got a chance to even use the Batmobiles back in Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era with Batman Returns, and it's literally for a 5-minute stint when you're just going from one part of the level to the next part of the level. Right.
Unfortunately, they should have known exactly what they were doing when they were deciding to put this on the table. When they included the Batmobile, it should have been like a momentary standalone thing, maybe for like one level, and then never use it again. Give it a decent enough tribute just to keep the fans happy. Don't make entire Riddler parts specific to the Batmobile.
You gotta drive on the walls and the ceiling.
To be fair, I would prefer to have the Batmobile in that game because there's a lot of time-sensitive things in like the island of Gotham, because it seems to be just a small island in this game.
No, it's not small.
And this one is bigger in Arkham
It's
Knight?
like the whole city
It's
of Gotham.
all of the.
Okay.
It's the entire Gotham City. Because what happens is basically the Scarecrow starts off with like this giant terror attack where he basically causes gas to cause a bunch of people in a diner to basically kill each other.
Nice.
And you know, the only people that are still hanging around, basically martial law has been declared. It's the crime
Typical
syndicate.
in Gotham, of course.
It's the crime syndicates. People are evacuating by the busload, getting out of the city. It's just Batman, the organized crime unit, and all the police that are caught in the crossfire. Everybody else has practically left. It's literally the entire city of Gotham. Time to go gangs of... Well, it's not really New York, but gangs of Gotham City.
It was cool because there's Penguin that's also in it. Like, you get to take down Penguin.
Nice.
You get to take down Two-Face. Man-Bat's in it.
Man-Bat.
The Man-Bat missions were annoying, though, because you had to, like, wait for him to fly by. And you had to, like, jump from a higher building and, like, hope you land on him.
One thing that actually I did like about the Arkham series is the combat. I love the combat. Like, the fighting style in that game is just absolutely amazing. I will never, ever, ever knock that portion of it. I would have liked, and this is one thing, actually, I haven't played Arkham Knight, and I would like to play it a little bit more. I'm going to give it a shot sometime. But I would...
PS4? Oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, whatever. I have Xbox. Microsoft. Yeah. It's okay. That's great. It's good. Yeah. Hater. Anyways, yeah, I would like to have more side quest combat or more side quest missions with the Bat family.
Well, it's cool, too. I think is it the Two-Face one, or is it the Penguin one where he fights with Nightwing?
Yeah, I saw that in the gameplay trailers back in the day. That made me like wet.
I don't remember. That was
One of the
DLC,
two.
wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was actually like one of the side missions, like Nightwing's and Bloodhaven. No, it is the Penguin because it's arms deal. So you have to track the Penguin's arms truck back to a hideout, and then you have to go in and then fight with Nightwing, and you can switch between the two. So you have Nightwing flipping around, using his batons, electrocuting people. So much fun to play as Nightwing, by the way. And then Batman like locks all the weapons in there, and then hucks some explosives, and they blow up, and then eventually you have to fight them.
Oh,
but
shit.
there's also stuff you can use. You can fight with Selena Kyle. I believe you can use Tim Drake at one point.
Nice.
And then where I was in the game, I didn't finish it because I knew how it was going to end. It frustrated me. But there was
Ra's al Ghul?
not Ra's al Ghul. I was going to go with Red Robin.
Okay.
There's references to Red Robin as well.
Yeah, and the Red
Nice.
Hood as well.
Yep.
Nice. Well, let's get over to gaming, man. You've been playing Sonic Mania for the last little bit. How is it?
Yes. So I ended up grabbing the collector's edition of Sonic Mania, and I've only been able to play it for roughly about maybe 5 to 10 hours, and I am absolutely
Only 5 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
You know, the game's been out for what?
In between video
A day?
editing,
Maybe a
but,
week?
Yeah. But I've been
Use your feet to play as you edit.
I take turns. I go back.
Not
and
much
forth.
to do, right? You just put like your big thumb on the A button and then like eventually hit a trigger to speed up every once in a while, and then the other button to jump.
But yeah, believe the hype. This is a fantastic callback to the previous Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. And, sorry, had to make the memes of the dankest variety. And, but yeah, it is a classic callback to those previous Sega games, not at all talking about the 3D stuff. But the interesting thing about this game, and the thing that always causes me to smile a bit, is that everybody's saying it is the best game that Sega has ever made since the original Sega Genesis games. And there's the major issue based upon the first things first. Sonic Team had nothing to do with Sonic Mania. It was all fan-made. The main people that they ended up grabbing from it was a fan-made project that was done by people who were working on ROMs, on different ports of the previous Sonic games.
Oh, sick.
And they basically commissioned this entire studio. So give me a second.
It's like the Mario Builder that came out.
Pretty much.
Super Mario Maker?
Yeah, Super Mario Maker. So they basically, it looks like to me that they basically just like, okay, so you're building a Sonic game, cool, I like it. You're building a Sonic game, I like it. Okay, we're gonna hire you, and you come.
And that's cool because I used to play Sonic as a kid. I used to have Game Boy Advance. I think it was called like Sonic
Game Boy?
Game Boy Advance.
There would have been I actually
it was
not
like
on the,
Sonic.
Not on Game
Not
Boy.
on-
Game Boy Advance.
No, it was Game Boy. I
No,
remember
there was a Sonic Battle.
There was like a Sonic Adventures
yeah,
or
there
something,
was-
and you could like
Really?
switch your characters. You unlocked like Tails at one point.
Yeah.
You unlocked
It was
Knuckles.
roughly around the time of, say, Sonic Adventure 2, where Sega started realizing that we can't do anything on our own, and then decided to make separate
I
games.
literally
like
think that was
yeah,
the game though.
yeah, like Sonic
2.
Adventure 2 came out for the GameCube as well. So at that point,
Oh, okay, yeah,
decided
yeah.
to stop making their own console hardware and started shipping out to other people
Yeah,
and just
because
making
that was
money
after the
that way.
Dreamcast tanked, right? So,
Yes,
which was such an awesome system.
but
You could burn everything you wanted on that. It was great.
But the major surprising thing about Sonic Mania for me was that I did not have high hopes at all about it going into the game. And the reason why is because I watched Jim Sterling's podcast of they announced Sonic Mania on a Sega sort of like special, I think 25th anniversary edition,
Something like that.
something along those lines, and it was by far the most painful live event I have ever seen in my entire life. People were not interested in it. Crush 40 was there, and they were trying to hype up the crowd, and they were not feeling it. And they're singing like Sonic Heroes, and they pass the mic over to this one guy who's just drunk and exhausted, and he's like screaming back the lyrics. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh God, please make it stop!" And what should have been the part where they unveil Sonic Mania to the crowd, there was a technical hiccup in the middle of it, and they released it early. They released it before the major thing, and they accidentally showed the minor thing, and they're like, "Oh shit, we are so sorry, but this is what we were supposed to."
Somebody's getting fired.
Pretty much. Like from a live event hosting perspective, anything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. But
that.
let me just lay down, because once again I don't want to take too long with Sonic Mania. What did I think about it? I thought it was very well put together. They have the classic stuff. You are going through Green Hill Zone, but they also have remixed versions of the stages. You can play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. A lot of the newer level design was like difficult. I had to actually this wasn't just like a simple platformer where you can turn your mind off. I had to actively think about where exactly I'm going to go, what direction I need to go, because otherwise you'll end up getting stuck in the same loop or the same area, and you have to think your way out.
Sounds like
and find find parts about it. The part that I find absolutely fantastic is the soundtrack. Above and beyond, it's a classic remix of some of the old tracks and a lot of the new ones, especially Studiopolis. Fan-freaking-tastic. I'm actually surprised that the collector's edition didn't come with a copy of the soundtrack. You get a nice figurine, a gold ring with a small Sega cartridge that comes in it, a copy of the download code, and built into the base, which is the Sonic statue, and sort of like a replica of the Mega 64. There's a button where if you press the power button, it does the original Sega. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
Fangasm!
That's awesome.
But
oh my God.
Yeah, from what I've played so far, it appears to be a really amazing game. For those of you who might be interested, I will be doing a review about it during my first season of Always Right Reviews. Please be sure to log on to youtube.com/SonicMTD. It will be reviewed, and you will get my pure, unbiased, well, incredibly biased opinion in regards to that. But the one thing as well, since that one wasn't created by by Sonic Team, the new one that they are working on, I'm still not too sure about it, but we'll see. It might shut me up. It might be the next Shadow the Hedgehog, or it might be the game that launched 1,000 Furries. Who knows?
Oh God!
Sonic,
oh God!
Sonic OC the game essentially is.
Oh my God!
See, everybody drew the Sonic OC. I became the Sonic OC.
Ota.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a hoot. Yeah. Well, so
there's also Madden that came out this week.
I was gonna say yes. Talk to us about Madden, man. You've been playing it. You've been raving about this game for a little bit.
Yeah, I just love football. I grew up playing football in a football family, and that's just always been there.
So you're saying you're a jock?
Have you seen these muscles? Are you kidding me?
That's a roll. That was disappointing.
That's a roll. Oh man,
where'd my finger go? But all honesty, I've grown up playing Madden. Started 06, and I've never missed an issue since then. So I'm a hardcore fan.
Yeah.
And then I was excited because they introduced Longshot in this one. And Longshot's supposed to be a story mode, and I was excited because the last time you saw actual career mode was Madden 7, Madden 6, and I was tremendously let down.
Oh no!
When you think of a career mode in a sports game, right? What comes to mind?
Well, I think if you choose a team and then you,
NBA Street.
Well, normally when I played any career mode like that of those kind of franchises, you'd basically make your own created character, throw them on a team, take that team, and then just continue playing until you get to the end.
Or you do the because once again, there's two different ways. You'd either go, because once again, my experience with sports games is the NBA Street franchise, where it's basically go grab your crew and you have one created character. There's not really much of a story.
They need to bring the Streets back, by the way. I fucking loved Streets.
It's just
everything Streets was
great. It's just 3-on-3, and you try to take down the legends, add them to your roster, and then go for the main goal. Or you go, say, the NBA Ballers, or the what's the more popular one now? What is the more popular ones, the NBA games?
Oh, 2K?
Yeah, you go the 2K route,
yeah.
where they're now going the whole cinematic thing where it's like, you were a young boy, raised to become great, and here are you starting off in your college game, and immediately get drafted over, and give out really crazy press conferences that affect either how your fans perceive you, how your team chemistry perceives you, things like that.
And that's what I expected to happen with Longshot. But
Literally none of that happens.
None of that, eh? Well, keep in mind, too, Madden is not of the 2K franchise, right? They're a
No,
different franchise. They're like
but
the live franchise, right?
They have the Be a Pro modes. They have
Yeah.
the EA's got NHL. They have NBA Live.
Yeah, that was ever since Kobe Bryant was on that one.
NBA
afterwards, it was
Live
just
when it's
garbage.
crunch time. Watch
Yeah.
Shake and Bake across over a slam dunk. Boom! A game over. Oh, I remember NBA 2000.
man.
Oh wow.
Wow.
But no, I was like, I've honestly.
I'm so old.
I've honestly.
But you're not. I think I'm older than you.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, how do you know this? I don't know this.
But
Y'all
yeah.
remember Crisscross?
Oh yes,
Applesauce?
yes. No, Crisscross, the rapper group.
Oh yeah. No.
Never, no.
I'm no.
Yeah, you do it. Come on,
No.
hip hop. No, Mac, Daddy, make it
Oh,
jump. Chris,
Daddy, make-
yeah, that was it. Crisscross.
Okay.
Yeah. Miggity, Mac, Daddy. I'm
Okay, I
the
remember.
miggity. Yeah, sorry.
But going back to Madden, I liked how I love Ultimate Team, so I've been playing that. I realized since I hadn't played, like I got rid of it, Madden 17, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait. Shouldn't have done that. I am so rusty. I got whooped this morning, 35-0, and I was just like, usually this is the other way around.
Well, okay, so normally when I play a game of Overwatch, right, like I spend a lot of time practicing. I go do the non-competitive matches, warm up my skills for a bit, and then jump straight into competitive. Are you just jumping in?
No, like I'm doing so in how Ultimate Team works is you can do like solo challenges and you have to do certain things. So I use that as my warm up. So I collect coins to buy players to put on my team. So doing that, I'm building up my team, and I'm like, okay, like my team's solid. Like every position has an elite status player, and I'm like, I'm gonna go play. The first guy I get matched up with, his lineup shows. It shows your lineup at the beginning of the game. All legend players, and I'm like, motherfucker has Lawrence Taylor. I'm like, I'm just gonna die.
Like, literally, the matchup happens. He sees his team. He sees that team. He's like, at this moment, I realized I fucked up.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna rage quit probably, and it happened. But then I was like, well, if I'm gonna talk about this tonight, I gotta experience long shot. That was the big thing. So I was like, okay, like I got into it, and it's cool. Like it shows the story of two guys, and you get like, you're at the NFL Combine, and they're like, oh, like we're interested in doing this show, and then you get caught up more in the politics of the show they're trying to do than actual football. And then like you have to do like these. You don't actually play any football. There's like these weird mini games. You have to like match the buttons on the screen, and like decisions have to be made. Yeah, and it affects your draft status.
So it's more like Madden Party or something like
yeah,
that?
and it was just like that's not. And then like when you're what you have to do after you like hit the release button to release the ball, because you have to be a quarterback. You can't be any other position, which is stupid.
Yeah. That's gonna suck. I'd rather be like a running back or a wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so you release the ball, and then like there's this little icon that it doesn't show you where it is. Half the time it's behind you. You have to like match it into the circle that's moving as like the receiver's moving, and you have to hit that specific time. And if you don't, you can overthrow them.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
kind of bollocks.
And then
I'm
they're
not
like,
gonna lie.
Yeah.
and coming from someone who's had multiple concussions, they're like, remember these names, and you have to like. So in the NFL, they're very elaborate play calling. Like it's like pro I, twin set, X cross,
Button hook,
Y.
scratch my ass, 32-3.
Yeah, like they give you like you have to remember like a play name, and I'm literally as I'm doing this, I had to get a piece of paper to write it down,
Yeah.
so I could actually like say it back to the coach.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like this, like it's like they're giving you the experience of what it's like to actually play football, but they're taking the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Because too much of like the behind the scenes, like what position is that guy playing? Where is that defense lined up? You have to know all this stuff if you're gonna go pro. No, I just want to play college ball, do well, get drafted, and then get my jacket.
You
Yeah.
ever remember Blitz the League?
Oh my God!
Wasn't that
yes.
fun?
Blitz was fun though. Oh my god.
Oh,
What
is it a
happened?
broken leg? Just shoot him up with steroids. Get him back in there.
Yeah. No, that's kind of how I was hoping to see sports games go. Embrace a more of a arcadey sort of dark side, but I think we got a little bit too wrapped up in our own ambition to the point where everything has to be like down to the wire simulation, and just we've lost what makes these games enjoyable.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
You know, I feel
Everything
like
else plays amazingly though. It's a
Yeah.
great football game. They added new defensive back receiver animations and everything.
That's cool.
So it's good in that aspect. It's just long shot out of 10. I would give it a 4.5.
shit, eh?
Yeah.
No, it gives me that. Like I picked up way back UFC right? And the UFC game. And one thing, when you pick fighting games, first and foremost, you usually expect like each button has a coordinated move in like one's like a hard punch, low punch, or like
Light, medium, heavy.
Right? Like generally. No, this one here, like you're pressing the combination of your analog stick with your right joystick to your left joystick, and like when you're grappling, you have to like rotate your fucking stick like 15 million times just to be able to bring the guy down, and you're like
flying away as you're trying to
right, and I'm like literally like
that's
I'm like,
going to destroy the PS4 analog sticks.
Oh man, it's
you
insane.
have to put the grips on in order to make sure it doesn't wear down.
Like that's exactly what it is. When any of the UFC games, you're pressing like, and then you have to hold a button combination while you're doing half this stuff. So you're like triggered this, and at this point you might as well be playing Twister.
And then when you're in a
your
submission,
fingers.
there's a submission bar, and it's like remember Snake, and it's like the guy's like trying to escape, and you have to like move like your submission bar away from him, and you're too fatigued, and you're like, what is going on? We're doing this really weird dance, and I don't know how I feel.
Like whatever happened to be just like, okay, he's trying to get out, press X, mash X, and I could just be like,
yeah, that's WWE in essential.
Exactly. Like that was so much easier to play back in the day. But now, like again, exactly that is we're trying so hard to simulate the real thing that we're taking away the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Right. When I see a fighting game, there's two types of styles of fighting games I enjoy. Right. Like I enjoy. Actually, we'll say three. We'll say three. One. We'll go. Actually, no. I'm gonna do four because Kelly's gonna be in this fourth one. So.
Hi, Kelly.
So the first one is obviously your Mortal Kombat technique, kind of. You can sit there and take your time pressing in buttons, blah blah blah. Right. Your second is like, I'm going to say like your Killer Instinct kind of style, where you can still kind of have the Mortal Kombat feel, but it also kind of gives you a nice combination of your Street Fighter feel, because you can sit there and mash buttons and just go crazy in regards to, I mean, like not Street Fighter, like the new ones, like Street Fighter 4 or 5, whatever. I mean like your old school Street Fighter with like your Marvel versus Capcom kind of feel.
I still think that there was a lot of technique-based fighting.
No, there is, because that's where Kelly comes into play.
Okay.
So number 3 was Marvel vs. Capcom, which is I enjoy playing with friends, and then there's number 4, which is Kelly destroying my ass in Marvel vs. Capcom, because there's the technique. Like this guy sat me down one day. He's like, dude, come over. I'm going to show you how to play. I'm sitting here with the controller. He had an arcade stick. First things first, he tells me, you need to get an arcade stick for this game. And I'm like, well, eventually I'll get one. He's showing me freaking things. He's telling me his famous, if you ever watch a game from me and him play, you'll hear him say, AJ, you forgot to block. Bounce off the ODG. I have bounced around that screen, I kid you not, for an entire match. I kid you not, for an entire match.
Was he playing as Vega?
No, his lineup, X-23, Sentinel, and I can't remember the last one. Who's your last one?
Taskmaster or Thor?
Yes, Taskmaster. No, yeah, it was more Taskmaster that I saw with Thor. Thor, I remember like when he was using Thor, he was still learning how to use Thor, but it was always Taskmaster, Sentinel, and X-23. I fucking hated Sentinel so much. You don't understand. You hit the ground and he would be like, rocket punch. Ping, back off the ground, switches out to X-23, bounce up and down, hit the ground, Taskmaster pulls his arrow, hits the ground again, bounces me back up. I would literally just put my controller down and just watch. I'm watching the loading screen, basically, is what's happening right now. You know when you let the game run at the beginning and they just show a demo version of the game? That's what I was watching. But I was the one getting my butt just handed to me. But the other thing...
Sorry, I forgot. I really want to bring this up because Kelly told me today, and it's kind of just sat in now that it's happening. Kingdom Hearts 3 has a pre-order available for it. Yes! I just actually text my girlfriend, like, see if it's available on PS4 to the store and just get it for me.
My biggest...
Check on Amazon. They might have a discount on it.
Ooh.
So outside of this, I do a lot of video game movie-based reviews and things of that nature. And so I end up watching a lot of different shows that are more established, that are have a wider fan base, so that I can learn and adapt some things. One of the things I watched was a What Culture video talking about series that people don't really understand the stories and most likely never will. And Kingdom Hearts was like number 1 on that goddamn list.
Yep.
I only played Kingdom Hearts 2. And
Good game.
yeah, it was a good game, but I realized, you know what? Just like with Metal Gear Solid, I need to jump off at this point, and that way I'll have good, optimistic visions of the entire series.
See, but like now they've tied it all into 3.
Yeah.
Like, literally all like the 800 other games that they've released from like.
So there's like So there's like Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 2.2, Kingdom Hearts 2.5, Birth After Sleep,
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts Forever, Kingdom Hearts featuring Kobe Bryant courtside. Like what?
So actually, funny story about the Kingdom Hearts series. I don't know if you've heard of Dream Drop Distance. Came out for the
Gesundheit.
One of the games is actually called Dream Drop Distance. It's for the 3DS. That was actually supposed to be Kingdom Hearts 3. And they're like, nah. Let's make them wait.
Yeah.
Square Enix is a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're like, so it goes, in chronological order, it goes, of the games, if you were to go in a timeline, it goes Birth by Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 3 different stories within that. Mm-hmm. And then there's Kingdom Hearts 1. Then there's...
Oh my god.
What's it called? Chain of Memories. Then there's 2. And then there's Dream Drop Distance. And then, actually, I forgot. In between Birth by Sleep and 1...
Wow.
They released last year, it was Kingdom Hearts 2.8, because they couldn't just release a full number, because fuck that. There's literally 0.2, and you're like going on as like the girl from...
What is this series?
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's like Fast and the Furious. Like literally,
Yeah,
like you go 1, 2, 3, and then you realize like Tokyo Drift is happening between 2 and 3, and then you're like Fast and Furious is actually between 1 and you're like, what is why are we doing all of this? Why can't we just do a
I've
solid
only seen
stream?
Tokyo Drift. That was my favorite movie in the entire series. I don't want to get involved. I am walking.
Don't worry.
I have
I
washed my hands.
I understand what culture meant with saying why
Yeah.
it's so confusing, because I'm playing point 2 and I'm like, why the fuck am I at the end of the first game now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the first game, you see like this little kid and King Mickey closing a door, and this girl's trying to escape because she's like a really important character, and she's like, oh well, I'm fighting the darkness, I guess.
It's like Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy does that too, right? Where they have like so many.
It's Square
storyline.
Enix, man.
Yeah, you're right. It is just Square Enix.
Enix.
They're like, okay, so we're gonna release the 1, but now we're gonna do an X1, an X2, or they're gonna like release all these different versions, different like characters, and you're just like, okay, can I get one character that I can follow for a while, please?
Well, and then so for example, Square Enix, something like I just hate. They're like, we have a big announcement, and we're like, yeah, woo, and then it was literally like I think December 21st.
Yeah.
Of last year, and the guy who like the creative director of Kingdom Hearts was like, oh, he's talking like there's subtitles, you can't understand him, and he's like, so look, he's like exhausted, and he's like, I'm so tired. Like he's just talking about how tired he is, and he's like, oh yeah, and at the end of like the last 2 seconds of the video, he's like, Kingdom Hearts will be at E3 this year, and then it just cuts.
Oh.
And it's like I'm literally just watching this guy go, so tired.
Yeah.
Oh, so tired.
Oh.
I made you turn in for this.
Oh my god. That's awesome.
And then there's K-pop stuff.
You know, at this point, they just should have gone full Dr. Kim. It's just like 5 minutes of him going, a tiny piece of paper. By the way, Kingdom Hearts 3, tiny.
Exactly. Literally.
Oh, man. Speaking of awesome announcements, though, you were
Yes.
talking about this the other day. I'm pretty excited for this.
Which one are we talking about?
We're talking about anime, man.
Okay.
Oh.
So we're skipping Nintendo. What is this? Oh, so question coming from Moosey. What movie coming out in the next 5 years are you guys excited for?
Perfect segue.
Wow.
Okay.
The biggest anime to date and still going is now getting a live-action movie. One Piece is set to have a live-action movie sometime soon.
Actually, from what I'm seeing, it appears to be a TV series handled by Tomorrow Studios. Yeah.
Oh.
From what I'm seeing here, because I had to check a variety of different sources. I used IGN, I used Variety, I was checking online. So Tomorrow Studios, the director, give me a second as I grab up his name for a second. He's he's the guy who did give me a second. So Tomorrow Studios, which was yeah. Why you guys do this to me?
Oh my god! I need to
Marty-
screenshot this.
So right now there's a very unflattering picture
Oh.
of Trevor playing with his nipple.
Oh my
Sorry.
god! Great.
So, according to IGN and Variety, Marty Adelson, who was one of the people behind the Prison Break series, is said to be directing a live action adaptation of One Piece.
Okay, wait. So this is North American?
This is apparently North American. It's
Ah.
through Tomorrow Studios, done by the man who is known for directing the Prison Break television series.
Oh.
It is rumored that cost per episode, breaking down the numbers and crunching it down, it appears that a single episode of the series is going to cost between 9 to 10 mil. Yeah. And once again, when it comes to, as I said before in the last episode, when it comes to live action adaptations
North
of
America's
anime, it has to be done with tact. It has to be done with a lot of understanding, and I don't know if One Piece is the series that you want to do it.
No. Do something small first.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Just do something small, because they've done a lot of terrible adaptations of our favorite comics or animes or mangas.
Kelly in the background is nodding. He's just
Yeah.
sitting there.
Death Note was
Yeah.
terrible.
I haven't seen the new movie yet.
Oh, Ray Pinber's wife.
It's that bad?
The show on Netflix is terrible.
Oh.
Now, here-
and like we all remember that Evolution movie that came out.
You guys, we're
a long
totally
time.
ignoring the question.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So yes.
So the movie I'm most excited for, I'm gonna say Flashpoint. It's gonna be the Flash movie standalone.
Provided they get a freaking director that stays on board.
If it happens, if the DCU EU can get it together, I love the question. It's awesome. I would love to see Flashpoint. I'm a huge The Flash fan. Flashpoint is one of my favorite stories. Be really, really cool to see them have Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot as opposing forces. And I really hope Matthew McConaughey is Reverse Flash. Have you guys seen that fan art?
All right.
Sick. All right. I'ma mess you up, Flash.
By the way,
All right.
are any of you guys planning on seeing Dark Tower, which has Matthew McConaughey playing the main
I'm gonna
antagonist?
probably wait till it comes on DVD or like
reading the
digital.
book.
You reading
Does
the book right now?
Idris Elba nickname his dick the Dark Tower now? I need to know this. I need to know this for science. Get on that internet.
What does he say? What does he say in his tagline too? He's like, I don't aim with my eye, I aim with my mind.
My heart.
And then I shoot with my heart, right? Does he shoot with his heart? The Dark Tower? Does shoot with heart? Sorry.
But
Bad joke, I guess.
movies that I am looking forward to. There's not really a lot because I know once again we're going to get a lot of comic book movies. Deadpool 2 is coming out.
I'm excited for Deadpool 2. I am.
I'm pretty moderately excited. I'm wondering when it comes to franchise when you hit that Police Academy point where the franchise just sort of fizzles out a little bit. So I'm worried about that. But that being said, despite the fact that I just told you that I'm worried about sequels, the movie that I am looking forward to, and I know it's going to happen, will be a sequel. It just how the second movie ended, there will be a third. I know it. John Wick.
Oh yes, that's
Did you
gonna be a
see
good
this?
movie.
Did you see the second movie?
Not all of it.
Okay. So
You need to watch it. It is
You look
so good. It is.
What did you just do with your body?
I didn't even know you did. I was like, yeah.
So
It is that. It was really, really, really good.
the trilogy rule when it comes to filmmaking is your first movie has to set up the rules. The second movie like pretty much breaks them entirely, and then the third one is your wrapping overall conclusion as to how it is. It's A New Hope. You know, Luke Skywalker going in, doing his thing, losing Ben Kenobi, but being strong. The second movie, he's at his lowest point. He loses his hand. He realizes that Darth Vader's his father. The final movie, Return of the Jedi, it's the conclusion. Light triumphs over darkness. Party with Ewoks. Well, Ekatuki na Iha, right? So
It's kind of. Oh my god.
Wow.
yeah.
But see, this one here with John Wick, I almost feel as though number one didn't really it set some rules, but it didn't explain those rules. Whereas number 2 was like, okay, so now we have a kind of an idea of those rules. We're gonna dive into it and explain more in depth, right? And then it left you on a part where you're like, there's going to be a number 3. Yeah. There's so going to be a number 3.
Well, the major issue when it came to the first movie is that they had to set up as much as they possibly could, and they didn't even know it was going to be a hit, so they had a limited budget. So they said, we got to focus on this story. They did show the Continental. They did show the rules that were into play. They did show,
Continental?
Yeah, in the Continental. They did show the consequences that happened and the badassery of John Wick. Now that they set that up for the first movie and they have a better budget, let's go to town, boys.
Yeah.
And they pretty much made it where it's like open season, go. And they got to more in depth. He goes to Italy, basically, and he sits down on the Italian side of the Continental, and the guy who runs it just sees John Wick and walks up to him and says in fluent Italian, "Welcome to the Continental. Enjoy your stay. Before you do anything, I need to ask you, are you here trying to assassinate the Pope?" And I'm just like, yes!
Yeah. But yeah, so last but not least, before we get ready to finish this off, I've been waiting for this to the end of this here. Are you ready? Yeah? Dive into Game of Thrones for me, please.
Okay, so much stuff happened. I've watched it twice today.
I've been waiting for this. Like, this is my, right here.
So the whole episode, I actually went out and have bought books and I've started to read that too. I am reading The Dark Tower in the first Game of Thrones book.
Talk much better than that.
I'll bring it up, maybe.
And then what's going on? So they were behind the wall this episode, and it was really cool to see the dynamic. And it was like the Suicide Squad of Game of Thrones. It was just like literally like, oh, that guy's still alive? Oh yeah, that guy's okay, he can fight.
Yeah.
Why is Gendry so fast? You know all the rowing memes where he's just constantly rowing? I feel like that's why he could run so far. Because he just rowed across all of Westeros. Like the last time you see this guy is in like season 2 or 3. Yeah. He's in a boat just rowing away.
That's the blacksmith guy, right?
Yeah. And then in this episode, they're like, Gendry, we need you to run. You're the lightest out of us all, and you're the quickest. And he's like, okay. And he's just like, perfect form running and everything.
The Hound takes his hammer. You know this will make you lighter. I'm like, you wanted that hammer for the first time you saw him. You're like, woo.
My hammer. Yeah. And I was horrified. I thought we were gonna lose Tormund.
Oh man, that actually
when the
White
Walkers are pulling him down, I was like,
no.
Take Jon. Take Jon.
I want to see him with Brienne of Tarth. In
the episode when he's talking to the Hound, and he's like, I have a woman back home waiting for me. Her name's Brienne of Tarth, and the Hound's like,
no, he doesn't say her name. He says he describes her. He's like, yeah, she's tall, blonde hair. Oh, she could fight. And and then he's like, Brienne of Tarth. And he's like, yeah, you know her. His eyes just get wide. He's like, you know her? She's like, yeah, good luck.
And the Hound's like, yeah, she fucked me up. She kicked him off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, she nearly killed me.
Just seeing him interact with, having him back in the show is amazing. And
he's so, what I like about him is that
he just looks so badass too. Now he's gonna have a scar on his face, and I'm like,
he's the one character that I enjoy watching just as much, because he's got that, he does those snide jabs.
He just
you know what I mean?
says shit.
Yeah.
So there's 2 queens right now in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
One's sitting that's on the throne, and one is dragons.
Yeah.
And the one is very big on incest. And he's like,
I know who this person is. She's the one who gave birth to what's his face? Joffrey, that's the one. Yeah.
So he's like, because he was behind the wall for a little bit. This character when he's reintroduced in the season, he's like, so wait, which queen are we siding with here? The one that rides dragons or the one that fucks her brother? And then he's like, and then they say like, oh, the one with the dragons, and he's like, by the way, who's in charge of talking this guy into doing stupid fucking shit? Is that your job? You're not doing it.
Yeah. And his facial expressions are what kill me too.
He's just like, he just has like the Rock eyebrow raised. He's like,
yeah, he's got that perfect, like that. Oh man, perfect freaking degree
At what point
going on.
does Game of Thrones just become silly? It turns into like fucking Camelot, Monty Python, Holy Grail.
When I first met Kelly, I was like, oh, he's Tormund. I was like, But then at the end of the episode, so one of the dragons die and comes back as a White Walker.
Yeah.
Like a zombie ice dragon.
Yep.
They're fighting zombies.
No, I know that. I saw Hordor. Like I explained in the last one, I'm like, okay, this is going down. And even in the first 2 episodes, they do mention some stuff about the White Walkers, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very hinted early on in the series, but it's just I'm sitting there going, okay, so is this like Attack on Titan where like you die and then come back as a Titan? Like what is this?
Yeah.
Essentially, kind of, yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, it's like they've kind of alluded to how they know they're going to defeat all the White Walkers. They think they found a way. Because if the person that... So, if I were to turn AJ into a White Walker...
It's like a vampire scenario.
Yeah. So, you
Right?
kill
You know,
the
they kill
head.
the vampire who bit you. Technically, in some lore, you end up turning either dying or you turn back
Yeah.
to normal human. Similar concept with the zombies or the White Walkers. The head, the one who turns you, if you kill that one who turns you, then, yeah, they all die. Right? But in this scenario here, so unlike where... I'm trying to think here. I had a train of thought with that.
Because remember when John kills that one general white,
Yeah.
all the other whites just drop, and I was like, Jorah, no.
Yeah.
Like, you just got back. You can attempt to try to get Cersei, but I know she's getting on the snow wagon.
Totally.
She's gonna
The
ride
snow
some
wagon.
nephew dick.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's like that meme. Let the nephew smash.
So yeah, moving on to the joy that is nephew smashing. Do we have anything else left on the docket to talk about today?
Well, just before we do finish, your one dude, the uncle that came back, who
Benjen,
saved
who's
Benjen,
half Walker.
yeah.
So he's probably full Walker now.
but he didn't get turned by
That we saw.
Yeah, but he doesn't usually. I think isn't it only supposed to be the kings that can turn, like the
It's
generals who
only
can turn?
Yeah.
So technically, he would either be dead or they're probably ready to attack him. Like, wait, that's familiar.
You're one of us.
Wait,
But
she
then
only-
you see him like jump onto him and attack him. But
Yeah.
the dragon gets like you literally. So when this dragon dies, it's like the one like it was like the Hail Mary in football.
Oh, legit.
You don't want to see connected. You just see like the king of the Knight's King pick up like this ice spear and he's like walks over fire and he's just like okay. And he just heaves like this ice spear and like right in the jugular and you just see this like you hear the dragon go like
Oh, and it's such a crazy shot though, because like this is exactly like the Hail Mary. This man threw it easy, 50 to 100 yards. Like you see him sit there and he's just all calmly just, I see a dragon. I came prepared. Thank you.
Cue
one guy
undead
gives him-
Olympic music in the
Literally.
background with horns.
He was a javelin thrower. You see him just,
and you
like barely any effort, barely any he was just.
and you just see the dragon drop.
This
Yeah.
one's for Usain Bolt.
Exactly. Just hucks it, and this dragon
He's
gets
retired. He's not dead. I know, but it's practically the same thing.
Oh, man.
You're gonna tell me that he's on a farm somewhere out grazing, enjoying his retirement? No, he's glue now.
Hit. It was crazy though that dragon, because that's so much distance for the dragon to hit the water, and then just
loved how they showed the blood too.
Yeah.
Like as it was like free falling,
just-
like it hits in the neck and like he's about to breathe fire and like
The fire comes out.
It like implodes in his neck and you see like his whole like neck like light up like a Christmas tree and then he just falls and you see like him like lifelessly falling and the other dragons too are even
Or like, what the fuck?
they're like brother like because they were
Yeah.
born all
Yeah.
together and they
Yeah.
grew up together and you see Daenerys the queen of the dragons like
she's
Like-
just staring in awe, like, oh
she
my
thought
god.
they were like indestructible
Yeah.
so she's like
yeah.
and then Drogon like does like this weird like 180 in midair. That's the other dragon.
Yeah, to
and
dodge
it.
it.
Dodges it, and the Night King's like, should have got that one.
Because it's funny because you see the one dude give him another javelin, he's like, another. And you see him grabs the other one, he's ready to huck at another one, and at the other dragon, he lines up again, hucks it, dragon just, bitch. It's twice.
Nemesis!
I love that one. I love him because of that iceless stare. Every time he sees Jon Snow too, and he's just like,
Like
we're gonna have words.
like when they throw down,
Yeah.
it's gonna like I feel like they're just gonna be White Walkers like circling them, and it's just gonna be them just going.
Yeah, he's gonna stop everything from stopping. He's like he's gonna be standing in the middle, and it's gonna be like White Walkers separate. He's gonna come walking, dragging his sword, or somebody's gonna hand him because he always seems to have somebody to hand him shit.
He's gonna have Smithers come out. Mr. Burns, here you go.
And they're just gonna have at it, and nobody's gonna be able to touch them. All the White Walkers are just gonna stand in a circle. It's gonna be like a fight night going at it. Just Oh, it's gonna be
And
great.
then it's gonna be interesting seeing how the other dragons react to Viserion.
Yeah.
Because, like, in all honesty, the only thing that's gonna take down that dragon is the other dragons.
Yeah.
Or Samuel Tarly.
Sam shows up. This chubby dude shows up. He's like, I have a way of taking them down.
Yo, Rangos!
Throws
the answer!
Comes in with like little daggers of dragon glass. He's like,
What, like Matrix with an overweight, like this overweight guy?
I would love to see the Matrix with an overweight Neo. That would be amazing.
Watch Shaolin Soccer. You'll see that there.
I haven't seen Shaolin Soccer.
There's a chubby dude in that one. He's called Lightweight, and you see him trying to, like, when he gets his power back, he's like...
So I'm definitely gonna watch Shaolin Soccer. One of the stories that we unfortunately I wrote down under gaming. We didn't have time to talk about it.
Yep.
We jump about it. Is there any time we can possibly do? It might be a little
talk
longer.
a little bit, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. This is going to be weird. It'll probably be edited different on the YouTube, maybe, as opposed to this one. But Nintendo released the classic for the Super Nintendo one that is coming out, and it is flying off the store shelves like hotcakes to the point where it sold out by the evening it originally was launched.
Sounds like Apple.
Yeah. And people everywhere are, I have some friends that did manage to pre-order it. Me, I'm sitting there on the side going, well, I wasn't really that much of a big, Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis fan for that matter. I wasn't really that fascinated with that primary era of video gaming. But the major issue that I'm starting to notice, and the one that I've noticed enough to be a pattern to the point where even Jim Sterling talked about it with the Amiibos and with the previous one that came out last year, was that Nintendo seems to be creating a artificial scarcity when it comes to a lot of their products. Basically not creating enough
Sorry.
Yeah.
Had something in my throat there.
Not creating enough on launch
was an
day,
apple.
so that way the demand is always consistently there. It's the old
They did that
saying.
with the Switch too, though.
Yeah.
Because there's a company that I know of that does the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Release a new color, they say. It's going to be absolutely different, they say. Let's not have it available to the public. They do.
But
Apple.
I have some friends that are doing it and buying it like hotcakes, but I can't help but feel like I'm being very cynical when it comes to Nintendo. I'm starting to lose trust with them because of their marketing strategy, especially with the Amiibos, especially with the classic Nintendo that is coming out, to the point where, they will always make profit. They will always make a decent amount of profit, but is this really the smartest thing? Because this is now causing, like, on launch day, there's going to be people that have bought it, that will grab it, that'll be perfectly fine, and then there's everybody else who's going to take it out on the people at the Walmarts, the EB Games, that are pissed off that they can't seem to get it. And it's not the people behind the store's fault. They're going to get yelled at for, like, hours and hours on end.
Yeah. And
Nintendo, meanwhile, is just sitting there going, release a couple in a few more months, but only put, like, maybe 2 or 3.
But that's the problem, though. So what you're saying, I get what you're saying in that aspect, but there's already companies that are succeeding from it. We have I'm not going to... Apple is a $1 billion company, and they've done the same thing year after year after year after year in cell phones. We're working in 10 years in the cell phone industry, and when they first released the 3G, the 3GS, they released a secondary model. They now have picture messaging and all this little small ticks that they decide to add into their things, or like now camera with flash, like little things. So essentially, what they do is they release a small batch to get that. It's like a crack dealer, you know. It's like, we're gonna give you a little bit of a taste, but we're going to make you want to come back for more.
Okay.
And they want you to come back to get some more. So, like, I know what's going to happen when the iPhone 7S comes out, right? We're going to have a ton of customers show up at our store and be like, oh, you guys don't have it. But there's going to be 50 million people standing in front of an Apple store who are going to wait to try to get the same product, and same thing. It's going to be like when they line up for the Switch, when they line up for the Super Nintendo, or when the Nintendo one came out, right? You're going to have all these people who, because they build such a big hype for it with their marketing campaigns, that people are going to line up and actually do and try to get these things, but they're not going to be able to get it. What we need to do is stop buying into those those marketing strategies. And instead of like, oh, let me pre-order this, because that just comes down to the whole pre-order game, right?
Yeah.
They want to see their numbers based off pre-order, so they see how much production they actually have, and they only produce that pre-order production, right? So you still have a ton of people who don't pre-order, who want to go into a store and purchase because they're impulse buyers, and they get screwed out of it because they didn't pre-order, right? How many times do we pre-order a game, or we walk in, just literally bypass the line and be like, I got my game, and oh, you're in line because you didn't pre-order. Walk out with our game, right? Yeah. Or now we're getting to the point where we're just ordering it online.
Ordering it on your console too, and
exactly.
it just downloads the night before.
Exactly, right? Or a week in advance.
If you want to shape the game industry, the best way to or any sort of industry that is based purely on capitalism in general is you have to manipulate the market supply and demand.
And that's what they do.
The best way to get back at one of the reasons why I no longer cover Electronic Arts after the Mass Effect game, because after Mass Effect 3 dropped, I'm like, I'm never picking up anything from EA ever again, and I have yet to play a brand new Electronic Arts game. The only time I do is when a friend lends it over to me, and that way I can or get a used copy, so that way the publishers don't benefit from it. It just goes to GameStop.
Yeah, EA was the worst for that. They would release terrible, broken content from launch day, and you're just like, I'm missing half my freaking game. What the hell is going on?
No Man's Sky.
Well, yeah. That is a different story altogether, though. Because
you can do whatever you want in this game. Really? Yeah, you can literally
Yeah, but that's not in. Again, I feel like I've had this argument with you before, right? Where it's not entirely their fault, because they were going through a whole bunch of litigation because of a UK company trying to sue them during the time of production.
It wasn't the litigation that did it. What simply happened with No Man's Sky was they were a small little indie developer that got picked up by a big thing. All of a sudden they have a shit ton of money thrown at them, and they don't know what to do. Because they were just planning on making this indie thing, and now you have to go out, and there's this expectation when you have giant AAA people behind you. And you're sitting there going, well, crap, I guess we need to put more out. We need to, and the more bloated it is, the more stuff that they have to work on, and the more the expectation is. It's pretty much, they've mighty number 9'd themselves.
But not even just that, though. Like, they had to put stop production on it for a little while, right?
Yeah.
So you have those people who are on the production team not getting any money, so they probably lost half their production team while they were going through all that lawsuit bullshit, right? That screwed it up, so... But whatever.
If you were pissed off at a developer, oh god, here we go. Now I'm starting to start the revolution. If you were pissed off at a game developer for their shady business practices, buy used games, trade with your friends, do it so that way the developer does not make the main source of income off of the title. There are ways of getting around it, and you can. The best way to make your voices heard, hit them where it hurts. Hit them in the wallet.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sorry, our Twitter is blowing up right now, and I have my phone between my legs, and I'm getting a very uncomfortable tickle. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, there it is.
That explains the bulge.
Well, I think we should leave it at that, then.
Yes.
Bulging exit.
So let's focus on our promo stuff. So
So like I said, guys, we at the beginning of the show, we are changing our handles. So you can follow us on Twitch. You can follow us on Twitter. Right, on Twitch, you look up North of Nerdy. You can find all our shows there. YouTube still, North of Nerdy. Right, our Instagram handle has changed to Nerds Unlimited.
Along with our Twitter, and if you need any source of nerdy at all, that is your one-stop shop and where to go. Constant live stream of everything to come and everything we post, anything you can think of.
Definitely.
That's nerdy. It is there.
Right.
And also, I'm going to do my own shout-outs because I work on a million projects. Please be sure to log in and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is SonicMTD, capital S, small O, small N, small I, small C, capital M, capital T, capital D. Also, be sure to check out my friends over at What to Play Gaming, Medium Mike, and Sneaky Sam, as they pretty much play everything video game and have a blast doing it. My band, City and Wires, which we need more fans, and we want to do more shows, and we want to go on tours. Please be sure to take a look at all of that stuff, and I think I've reached the end of what I have. So,
also, guys, check out the other shows we got going on North of Nerdy and YouTube as well. So again, not only do we just have our shows on there as well, we got Third Realm, we got Road to Ranked, and we got Quest Accepted, as well as a really great show that's been doing great that we just started on Sunday, Split Decision. Mr. J, who used to be a host of the show that we were working with before, is now doing his own show with a few other friends of mine, friends of ours, and it's just taken off. So check it out. If you're into MMA, if you're into the Conor McGregor and Mayweather fight, they have a whole segment on that. So check it out. Split Decisions on Sundays as well.
Be there.
Boom. But yeah, Nerd Unlimited, we out.
Later
Bye,
days.
guys.